2,000 years ago, a village made a deal with a demon, one human life every time 3 signs appeared. The signs just appeared for the 4th time, and the man they chose to die had only come to this village for one reason. He thought he was getting married. Deep inside a fort in a village called Rakasa, something ancient has been locked away for 2,000 years. Not an animal, not a ghost, a Brahma Rakasa, one of the most terrifying creatures in Indian mythology. To keep it contained, the village made a deal. Every time 3 specific warnings appeared, one human had to be sacrificed. The life was left at the entrance of the fort. The demon stayed inside, the village stayed safe. It worked 3 times 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and 500 years ago, when the life offered was not even a man or a woman. It was an infant. The only person who ever tried to stop it was a king named Pratap Rudravarma. He believed the tradition was wrong. When his soldiers discovered a hidden path into the fort, he gathered his entire army and launched an attack. He believed strength could end what no prayer or sacrifice ever had. Neither the king nor any of his soldiers ever came back. After that, the key to the fort was handed to the king's son. The message was simple. What your father tried to do, never repeat it. Continue the sacrifices. Protect the village. Keep the deal alive. That responsibility was passed down from son to son, generation to generation for 500 years. And then in 2026, 3 warnings appeared again. The timing could not have been worse, because a man named Viru had just arrived. He had spent 10 years in America. He had sent money, gifts, an iPhone, and expensive household items to a village girl named Sukanya. He was certain she was waiting for him. He boarded the bus toward the village with a smile on his face and a plan in his heart. But the bus was full of wedding guests, and the wedding they were going to was Sukanya's wedding, to someone else. Viru had never properly read the invitation. He could not read Telugu well. By the time he arrived, the ceremony was already underway. Sukanya had not been waiting for him. She had been using him for money and gifts, while the whole village thought he was just her elder brother. He became the joke of the village overnight. His grandmother looked at him like he had brought disaster to her door. He had no money left, no dignity, and nowhere to go. But that was still the least of his problems. His friend Balu tried to help. He introduced Viru to a woman named Subha Lakshmi, whose father was a local mystic. Subbu gave Viru a magical black kajal and told him that if he applied it to Sukanya's waist, she would come back to him. It sounds harmless enough. It was not harmless. Instead of Sukanya, Viru accidentally applied the kajal to Sukanya's mother. Nothing supernatural happened. But the terror of what could have happened was enough to shake him completely. That night, Viru sat outside alone, drinking more than he should have. Balu passed out first, then Subbu appeared and tried to comfort him. Before leaving, she gave him one warning: take the road on the right. Never go left. The left path leads to the fort. But Viru was too drunk to remember. He followed the left path. He stood before the stone statue of the Brahma Rakasa and began talking to it like it could hear him. Then a meteor crashed from the sky and landed directly in front of him. That was the first warning. Back in the village, a glowing key appeared inside an old cupboard that had not been opened in 500 years. An elder's grandfather appeared as a spirit in a rocking chair. No one could deny what it meant. The countdown had started. But Viru did not know that yet. He woke up on the ground outside the fort with no memory of how the night had ended. Before he could process it, a much larger problem landed on him. A villager named Somu had disappeared overnight. A torn piece of blood-stained shirt from Somu's clothing was found draped over Viru's shoulder. Nobody believed his innocence. The village headman, Parshuram, held more authority than the police. He sentenced Viru to public whipping, confiscated his passport, and ordered him to pay Somu's wife 250 rupees every single day until Somu was found. Viru had arrived with 10 years of savings. Within 2 days, he had been robbed, humiliated, physically punished, and trapped in a village he could not leave. But the worst was still coming. One evening, Viru floated a small lamp on a pond as part of a local ritual. The lamp overturned. Strange sounds came from the darkness. The next morning, every animal in the village had been reduced to a skeleton. The second warning: that same night, a massive stone rose from the earth with a carved message: one life or the entire village dies. The third and final warning had arrived. The elders gathered. An ancient scroll was read aloud. The full terms of the deal were explained to the village for the first time in living memory. Some people objected. Parshuram ended the conversation before it started. The sacrifice would happen. The only question was who. They needed someone unmarried. Someone with no responsibilities, someone easy to let go. Their choice was Gangaya, an 80-year-old man who spent his days drinking and dreaming about a woman named Pankajam. Viru was furious. He tried to help Gangaya escape. He made the old man dance to create a distraction. During the dance, Gangaya's heart gave out. He died before the sacrifice could even happen. Parshuram chose the next name without hesitation: Balu. Viru could not allow it. In a moment of rage and wounded pride, he walked to the sacred lamp marking the sacrifice and extinguished the flame with his bare hand. Now the sacrifice was him. The crowd cheered. Parshuram gave the order. Viru was sent into the fort alone. The moment the gate shut behind him, a roar came from somewhere deep inside. His confidence dissolved in an instant. Inside, the fort was not empty. Traps built centuries ago were still fully active. Pressure plates, falling stones, mechanisms designed to kill anyone who walked through without knowing the layout. Viru survived by luck more than skill. While running through the ruins, he sensed someone following him. He turned. It was Somu, alive, confused. Physically intact despite 10 full days trapped without food or water, which made no sense at all. Under pressure, Somu told the truth. His wife Savitri had been behind everything. She had heard rumors about a hidden treasure inside the fort and believed the demon stories were invented by the elders to keep people away. She forced Somu to enter and find the treasure. His shirt caught on a branch on the way in. That torn piece was what ended up on Viru's shoulder. One accident had destroyed Viru's life in the village, but the demon was real. Somu had seen its shadow moving through the corridors. He had heard sounds that had no explanation. When he tried to use the secret entrance to leave, something invisible blocked the exit from inside. There was no way out through the entrance. The only exit was somewhere deeper. They pressed further in, torch in hand, until they found a chamber with a human skeleton on the floor and words carved into the stone wall. Somu read the inscription aloud. It was a message from a soldier who had fought alongside King Pratap Rudravarma and survived his failed attack. The soldier had retreated to this chamber, carved everything he knew into the wall, and died there alone. The message revealed how the demon could be killed. A sorcerer had once given the king enchanted green powder that could weaken the Brahma Rakasa, along with 2 daggers, the sun dagger and the moon dagger. Both had to be stabbed into the demon's back after the powder was applied. The king used the sun dagger. Before he could reach for the moon dagger, the demon transformed into its true form and killed him. The moon dagger fell into a hidden chamber somewhere inside the fort and had never been recovered. The soldier had drawn a map, hidden inside a pendant around the skeleton's neck. And then the inscription revealed one more detail, something small. Something that would only make sense much later. The soldier had once seen the demon leave the fort in human form, using the same hidden passage that Savitri had discovered. The demon was supposedly imprisoned, but it had been coming and going for years. And when the soldier spotted it outside, he noted one thing that confused him at the time. The demon looked unusually happy. Outside the fort, Sabu had been freed by her younger brother. She reached the entrance and found Balu waiting, too frightened to go in alone. They entered together. Eventually, all 4 found each other inside and shared what they knew. Sabu had one more piece of information. The demon could only be killed before sunrise. A solar eclipse was approaching fast. Their window was closing. They unlocked the pendant by arranging its symbols to match the positions of the sun and moon. Inside was the map. The hidden chamber required 2 levers pulled at exactly the same moment. The soldier had been alone. That was why he never got it open. The group split into 2. Viru and Sabu went for one lever. Somu and Balu went for the other. Both had to pull at exactly 5 o'clock. Along the way, Viru and Sabu triggered an ancient trap. They were left dangling in the air above a floor covered with the skeletons of soldiers who had died in exactly the same position centuries earlier. At 5 o'clock, both levers were pulled, the trap released, the hidden chamber opened. Inside, they found the weapons and relics of the king's army, the enchanted green powder, and the moon dagger exactly where the dying soldier had said it would be. Then the demon appeared. The battle was fast and brutal. The demon ignored Somu and Balu entirely and focused on Viru, the chosen sacrifice. It lifted him into the air but refused to finish it. Something was stopping it from ending the fight. In the chaos, the powder knocked loose and landed on Somu's shirt instead of the demon. Somu tried to fight. Fear overtook him. He panicked and shoved everyone aside. Sabu fell. Her anklet caught on a nearby torch. One soft ringing sound filled the chamber. The demon stopped. Its burning red eyes turned blue, calm, still, and then Viru understood. He pulled out the sun dagger that was already embedded in the demon's body and held up the anklet. The demon went completely still. The real story came out. 500 years ago, the village offered an infant girl as sacrifice, but the demon never consumed her. She was not afraid of him. Unlike every soldier, every king, every adult who had ever come to the fort with a weapon, this child simply looked at him without fear. He took her in, he gave her food, he gave her toys, he raised her inside the fort as his own daughter. The tiny handprints on the walls, the children's belongings scattered through the chambers, all of it was hers. When the girl was around 5 years old, she wanted real flowers from outside. The demon opened the hidden passage and walked out into the world to find them for her. That was the moment the soldier spotted him leaving. That was why he looked happy. Not because he was plotting an escape, because he was a father trying to bring flowers to his daughter. Then the king attacked. An arrow struck the girl by accident. She died inside the fort. The small skeleton wearing the anklet, the one Viru and the group had passed without stopping, belonged to her. The demon killed the entire army in grief. Every person who had entered the fort since that day, the demon had treated as another soldier coming to take something from him. The moment Viru placed the anklet before the demon, the spirit of the little girl appeared inside the chamber. The demon saw her. After 500 years, the two were reunited. The curse did not end through a dagger or a powder or a king's army. It ended through a 5-year-old girl who had never been afraid of the demon, and a man who was willing to understand before he destroyed. With the curse lifted, all 4 walked out of the fort alive. The first people ever sent inside as a sacrifice to leave with a heartbeat. The village was stunned. Parashuram and his father looked deeply unsettled, and not only because the sacrifice had failed. Throughout the story, they had behaved as though they were hiding something beyond the demon, something the Brahma Rakasa had nothing to do with. What that secret is, the film does not answer. After the credits, Somu mentions that on his first night inside the fort, he heard sounds from somewhere deep below. The scene cuts to a hidden passage sealed behind iron bars. A different entrance, a different secret. Something that has not yet been found. The spirit woman who appeared to Viru throughout the story also remains unexplained. According to Sabu, certain spirits take the form of the person you love most. Viru saw her wearing Sabu's face. Who she actually was, the film leaves open. Viru and Sabu finally spoke honestly to each other. No humor to hide behind, no fear left to carry. Just 2 people who had walked through something terrible and come out the other side knowing what mattered. A sequel is clearly coming. Too many questions were left unanswered, but for now the village was quiet, the fort was still. And a demon that 2,000 years of sacrifices could not satisfy had finally found peace. Not because someone was brave enough to kill it, but because one man was kind enough to give back what it had lost. And that is how a heartbroken man who came to a village for a wedding ended up breaking a 2,000-year curse that no king, no soldier, and no sacrifice ever could.